And welcome to Athena After Dark. I hope you all had a great week. We have tons of cool stuff, so let's kickstart this baby and get it rolling. Awesome. We talked about it last week. We got our April upcoming events, the good ones that I know of. We have Outer Banks Bike Week. That's going to be up in North Carolina. That's the end of the month. And also Leesburg Bike Fest. That is in upstate Florida. It's a very awesome, cool event. If you've never been and you're in the neighborhood, got to try it out. And then, again, May's coming up. So we're going to have the TMMR, the Tennessee Music Motorcycle Revival. And that's at Loretta Lynn's Ranch. This is going to be a good year. I'm sure they're going to pay many tributes to that wonderful woman. So if you're in the area or you don't have anything to do, go to Tennessee. And then also while you're there, Sons of Speed, they're racing the Tennessee Jam. So you know what that means. It's time for everybody to get out and ride their motorcycles. Spring is upon us. If you hear the door rattling, spring is upon us. It's windy and rainy, so just bear with us for any background noise. And I'm glad to see you all. The Hot Mess Express has showed up. I managed to put makeup on, wash it off, put makeup on, wash it off, but I made it. I'm here. Alrighty. So last week we did we announced our giveaway for the Harley Davidson riders course for the ladies. I have a new contest. So this is for everybody. Thanks to Northern Tool, we have some goodie bags that we're going to give away. And we're going to do this time, we're going to do trivia question. So first of all, it's required not just to answer the question, but you also have to follow the instructions, okay? So one, you must email your answer. You can't put it up on screen or pop it up, anything like that. You have to send it to athenaafterdark@aol.com. And you also have to include your mailing address, okay? That's very important because I want to send you the goodie bags. If you don't put your mail address in there, I can't ship it out to you. And thank you to Darcy for making that happen. I appreciate you more than you know. And then got to also follow at Athena After Dark Productions. So if you have all those things and you follow instructions and you can answer the question, then we're good to go. All right, I got my paper. I have this cool paper of all this trivia. And so, of course, I didn't circle it. That would have been too easy for the Hot Mess Express. Okay. What important item was introduced to the Harley-Davidson motorcycle in 1928? If you can tell me what that is, I will send you a goodie bag, and it'll have a shirt and a hat and a rag and some stickers. And we'll go ahead and announce the winners after I have 3 weeks worth. We're going to go ahead and send them out. Every week I'm going to ask a question. This is, again, the first week's question. Don's over there, and he's giving me instruction. Babe, what do you got to say, honey?
I forgot to tell you that we're going to throw all the winners' names in a hat and pull one out.
Oh, we're going to do it that way. Okay.
Those
So
people that know that.
anybody? Oh, yeah. The Hot Mess Express tonight. So, okay, everybody email in your answer, follow the instructions, follow Athena After Dark Productions, send your mailing address, and then send your answer. And Don's going to throw them all in the kitty, and he's going to pull out a winner. Okay, and then we'll mail it to you. After we do it 3 weeks in a row, I'll announce all the winners so everybody knows who won, just in case you don't know what the box is outside. It's not going to tick, I promise. Okay, so we're going to get on to it. Next segment is Ask Athena. Okay, I like this one, I guess, kind of, sort of. I didn't pick this one this week. So Deborah, Chieftain, Florida, she says, I found your show in a group I follow on Facebook. Upon doing some research, I found that you're a custom builder and you're held in high regard. I'm held in all kinds of regards. Do you build bikes for women? She says, I spoke to a few shops about a build, but they refused to hear my input. What do you build and how much does it cost? Okay. Deborah, thanks for writing in. I appreciate it. I build motorcycles for anyone. Motorcycles aren't gender specific. It's passion. And I'm sorry that they didn't listen to your input. I do that here. We go about safety things, we fit you to your motorcycle. We've had more than a few people that were vertically challenged, shorter, and then some, like tonight's guest, who are super tall. And we made modifications to their motorcycles too, just to get them fit and ready to go. So they're confident out there riding and they can handle their motorcycle. So yes, I do build custom bikes. And yes, if you want to talk about what it would cost, it depends on your taste and your flavor, what you like and what you don't like. But I can go ahead and do an estimate for you. We can do a Zoom meeting, however you like. So hit me up. And for the shops out there that see now more ladies coming in looking for a custom build, please pay attention, because there's certain things that will allow us to be more confident when we're riding, things that we're not sure of with a custom build. So if you answer their questions, it's easier for you to make the customer. And in my shop, we don't make the sales, we make the customers, because you can sell all day long, but the customers and coming back and everything, you do quality work. So you should put it out there. Women have the purse strings, they used to say in the old days. So, they spend the money. So if you listen to them and keep them safe, you'll have a lot of repeat customers for sure. Hi, Dennis. I see you out there. And I will, one of these days, I will take you guys for a tour on the shop. We're going to get a new shop. So we're excited. We're in the moving process now. It's okay. It's nothing to be crazy about. Okay. So that segment that we talked about, Ask Athena, brought to you by Techno Research. Again, ladies, if you want a custom build, you have questions, even if I'm not doing it for you, please reach out to me, send an email, message me on Facebook. I'm more than glad to have any kind of input that you need to help direct you, help steer you towards some quality stuff. And then, again, if I'm helpful to your technician or whatever, I don't mind helping out in any way. So Ivy, I see you out there. I'm all excited tonight. I have the jitters. I have a guest tonight that is awesome. He's fantastic. And so you guys know I get all excited about having the guests, because it's really all about them. Okay, so our next segment is a dose of goodwill. All right, so the Bonacani Fund, the MiamiProject.org, the Bonacani Fund, their goal is to cure paralysis. They were established in 1992. It's a nonprofit organization whose mission is to raise funds and awareness to help the Miami Project. They achieve their primary focus is to repair and restore function to the injured and diseased nervous system, thereby improving quality of life for everyone. So Nick Bonacani, if you guys are too young and you don't know who he is, 1970s Miami Dolphins player. They went through the undefeated season. They were there, and he was, someone who everyone looked up to. Tonight's guest, I'm sure that's someone that he looked up to. And he played football, so it's exciting. I didn't put the darn picture of the ring in there, babe. I'm bummed out about that. Okay, so if you guys can go to the MiamiProject.org, again, like I tell everybody, if you can donate money, if you could donate your time, volunteer. This kind of is a little special to me because I was at a Leonard Skinner concert in, 1980. It was the early 80s, no, late 80s. It was the late 80s. Alan Collins was already in his accident, and me and my friend Clutch were at this concert, and Alan Collins had come over in a wheelchair, and he complimented me about my attire. And then they had put him up on this very large stage that was wheelchair accessible, which was super cool. And I didn't realize later they had brought him up on stage, and he was Alan Collins, but he was also someone who was very involved in the Miami Project. So it's kind of cool. And that's exciting. Anytime you can help, do whatever you can, lift someone up, however, like I said. And sometimes it's just about spending your time. There's places you can volunteer and make a difference. And tonight's guest, he was out at a charity golf event today, and he didn't get rained on too much. So it's been a little nasty here, so everybody knows. All right, so like I said, please get involved, MiamiProject.org. We'll talk a little more about that. But now I'm excited because we get to our guest. And all right, tonight's guest, Jed Weaver. Those of you don't know, he played football for quite some time. He was on a championship Super Bowl winning. Oh, Don put his picture up with him. Yeah, that's how we met. Mr. Weaver he came to us with his Indian, and he also needed to, he's a very tall man, and he needed to make some modifications to get his bike to fit him. So he asked us if we could, help him out. And he is definitely a rider. He is absolutely so humble and kind, and he's just downright awesome in my book. He's an athlete, real estate guru, and they ride all the time, and it's a family thing for him. So for me, that's super exciting. I love to, I love everybody to tell their stories here. All right. So we're gonna go through the picture because he's tonight's spark, and let's start out. There he is. Okay. So of course, look at that. That's absolutely breathtaking. But some of the pictures that we have are better that I like. It shows his reel. Look at that. Like if you're not out there doing it, it doesn't matter about the weather. They go all over it. Where is that?
Summertime.
That's summertime, but that's up by Glacier National Park and all that stuff, right? And I believe that's Dad. And there you go. And that's duty free. I was just say tobacco duty free shop. Oh, that's the border. That's the Canadian border. At least it's cold. Look at everybody's. Yep, there it is, Glacier National Park. They're dressed too, and it is summertime. I've been up there in that. It's kind of, oh, look at that. It's beautiful. It's breathtaking. See, and that's what happens when you ride, okay? And everybody has their stories about where they ride to and what they do. Look at that. You get pictures like that. That's why I love social media. I get to see everybody's stuff. There they are. Look at that. Wow. That's the dam, huh? I can see it. I don't have my glasses on. I'm faking through it. And there's, of course, that's afterwards. You get to eat, drink, and be merry, after a day's worth of riding. They rode thousands of miles this summer, so I'm excited to talk about that. And there you go. And now that's Dad's garage. So I'm pretty sure that's where the history comes from. We're going to find out tonight. But Dad's got a cool garage. I didn't put up the other picture, but he has an actual a stove in there, like a wood burning heater thing in there, because it's cool. It's really cool, literally. All right, what other pictures do we have? I think there's a few more up. So I think that's one of Dad's first bikes that he ever built, and I'm pretty sure about that. And then I do have a picture of his lovely family, because he's a family man. There you go. All right, and we're gonna bring him in tonight. I'm excited. Sir Jed Weaver. We'll talk about football for a minute. All right. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
To see you.
Good to see you too. I like your background there.
Yeah.
Champs.
Thanks.
That's very good.
Little designer,
Oh, Chanel football. Oh yeah. Did your wife have something to do with that?
Exactly.
I knew it. That is awesome. So how was your day? I heard you were out golfing today. That's what Don said.
Yeah, it was good. It was for Lauren's kids. Lauren Book, she's one of the state senators in Florida, and it's to help kids with that have been in abusive situations. So it's really great charity, great people there, and we got a few rain bands, but nothing that stopped the day. No lightning, so it was a nice day.
That's awesome. Awesome. Ray, did you get a good score? I don't know much about golf, but
we were all right. I was probably the best player on our team, which is never good for our score. So
golf is par, right? That's par.
Yeah.
So
like par 72. So it's the best ball. So everybody hits, and then you go to the best shot, and then everybody hits from there. So it goes a lot faster, and your score's usually better. So it's not like real golf, but makes for a fun time. Keeps you going.
How many touchdowns did you score?
Today, none.
A hole in one? Not get any of those?
No birdies, no hole in one. A couple birdies, but no hole in ones.
Boy, I gotta catch up. It's fun. I don't take Don golfing. I took him once for our anniversary, and he yelled 4, and the golf club went flying down the driving range. And I said, babe, I don't think that's what they meant by 4. We have to go. So, yeah, we almost took 4 guys out. That's the truth. So, other than that, what have you been up to?
I'm just working. We actually, for spring break was a couple weeks ago for our daughter. She's 9. So we went out to Maui for the week. It was my wife's aunt's 70th birthday. So
nice.
Her uncle got a nice big condo right there on Wailea, right by the beach. And so we hung out at the beach. We saw some whales. We went whale watching, saw some turtles out in the swimming area, some giant sea turtles. So that was awesome. And hung out with the cousins and had a great time. So just working away. Now's the busy season for real estate. So
right,
cranking on that, and Getting
Now, do you
ready for
sell
this
you
wedding in
sell
Spain.
you sell just in South Florida? You sell everywhere?
I mean, I can refer anybody, around, but I only have a license here in Florida, so just in Florida for now. And I've referred people around the country, try to find someone good, and go
Cool.
from there. So I do have a good network of people.
Very cool. So I'll make sure I put your info up on our little page there. So if anybody needs a good realtor here in South Florida or a referral, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. I
So,
do everything, rentals, purchase, listings, all of it. So our company just merged with the Kai's company, so
oh,
it's really kind of a step up for us because we were just a boutique firm, and Kai's is massive, and
very
they're the number one sales company in Florida, so it's nice to have that umbrella. But it still boils down to your personal relationship and trying to give people the service they deserve and find them the best spot and do the best for them. So
that's
it's a nice
awesome.
umbrella to have, but it's all just personal relationship.
Yep, and that's what life's all about is
That's
personal
right.
relationships. That's what with motorcycles. That's how it's odd that that's how we met, though. Because you were very tall and needed some very tallness to your motorcycle. Which, by the way, you ride everywhere. So, and we do the service, so we're lucky to see you at least once a year, no matter what. I'm
Yeah.
happy about that. Um, I was kind of telling Don earlier. I was bummed out. I had a picture the day you came to the shop and you brought your Super Bowl ring and I have it on my thumb. I'm going to put that up on my Facebook page if you don't mind, because that was really cool. But I
Yeah.
forgot to put it in the pictures. So you started at the Oregon Ducks. That's where you played college. And
Yeah.
then you played Miami Dolphins,
I got drafted by the Eagles in '99.
Eagles.
Yeah, that was Andy Reid's first year. And we sucked, but they were going to be good, which they
I love
became
you.
good. And then I came here from Miami for 3 years, and then San Francisco. My contract was up, so Dave Wanstad was the coach and thought I should do something different. So I left, and we went to San Francisco, but we kept our house here, and then went to New England after that in 2004, and that's when we won the Super Bowl. So
That is awesome.
yeah.
That is awesome. That I just can't even imagine. And so my first question that I didn't put on the paper, when you were in playing football, did you have to sign like contracts or something like that that said you wouldn't do dangerous things like ride motorcycles, go hot air balloon riding, anything crazy like that?
Yeah, it says that, I mean, obviously they're not regulating you, but if you get injured and your career's over, then you would have to give them back your signing bonus, and
Ooh,
you would be out of any money that obviously you had coming up. The contracts now, there's a lot more guaranteed money in them than when I was playing, which is great for the players. But yeah, I played with a guy in New England. It took him like 2 years to come back, but he was out. They used to have like a rookie game at the Pro Bowl in Hawaii, and he was out
yeah.
there, and they were messing around. He tore his knee in half, and it took him like he was a first round running back from University of Georgia, and had a great rookie year, and had a promising career. And he only ended up playing like 1 or 2 more years because his knee was just shredded. And I mean, I think the Patriots did right by him, and didn't take any of his money back, his signing bonus or any of that. But
Mhm.
obviously he didn't have the career he wanted because he got injured. They were just playing out on the sand, beach football, and he got
Yeah.
hurt. Needless to say, that was the last year they did that.
Right, no doubt. And
Yeah, they canceled that.
I always wondered that too, because like athletes usually see after they retire, then they get into like motorsports and things like that. So I always wondered if that was part of the contract. So,
Yeah,
um,
and here it's funny because Dave Wanstatt, he had a Harley, so I actually have to dig through all my stuff, but the Harley shop, Russ Meyer, Bruce Russmeyer, he
yep,
had his shop in Fort Lauderdale there on Federal, and he had a bunch of shops actually, but um, a bunch of guys got bikes from him, and we had one day they brought a bunch of bikes, and we were all sitting on bikes with the head coach and all the guys that ride. There was probably about 10 of us, and they made refrigerator magnets out of them and they put the Dolphins schedule on there for that
oh,
season. And
cool.
they a little promotion for the Harley shop. And most obviously most coaches don't want you riding a motorcycle, but since Dave rode, he was cool with it. So it's kind of funny, something unique that I'm sure no other team had that or did that. All the
That
coaches
is
don't want you riding.
That's so neat though. At least again, there's that common bond. That's it. But like I said, you don't see athletes very often until after they retire. So that
Yeah.
is that's what it is. So this year, do you have anything upcoming that you want to tell anybody about? You think anybody should participate in anything like that? Because if you do, now's the time for shameless plugs before we get to the questions.
No, not really. I mean, the Bonacani Foundation is just great. We talked about that a little bit. It was great what you said. Nick's son actually broke his neck playing football in college, so that's why they really started that. And just the advancement in curing paralysis, and they're doing stem cell research to try to get stem cells in people's spinal cords. One of the treatments they were doing down here and trying to perfect, one of the guys, and this was about 10 or 12 years ago, but in Buffalo, broke his neck. And
Oh
the
yeah.
doctor up there for the Buffalo Bills had worked with the Miami Project and was friends with the doctors down here, the spinal doctors. So they immediately injected his spinal cord with like frozen water to basically put it in a hypothermic state. And, I mean, the guy, he never played again, but he's not paralyzed because they basically like froze his spinal cord, and then, so it wouldn't swell because of the trauma. And then, over time it was able to heal and recover. And because of that, they basically saved the guy from being paralyzed. So it's pretty unbelievable.
And what kind of ways can people get involved with that other than just like going to the website and finding out? Are there events like here in Florida that happen that you go to if they?
Yeah, they do. They used to do, well, they've been doing, like this year, they usually do golf, and they've, partnered with Jack Nicklaus. So he has a golf event up at the Bears Club in
Okay.
Palm Beach. So they have that. There's a big gala in New York City. They always do, like Bob Costas is the MC. So it's pretty
Oh,
big time. This year they're doing, it's April 29th in Wellington. It's a celebrity polo match that they're doing, like Tommy Lee Jones, the actor, he's into
yeah.
polo. And there's a couple other guys that are playing, so they're having it's like a whole dinner and match and exhibition match and all of that, like at the polo grounds in Wellington. So that's April 29th. So I'm sure that they have I know they have like the title sponsor and stuff, but I'm sure they have tables and stuff. So if you went on the
Okay.
website, I'm sure there's information there if you wanted to check it out. Polo is pretty cool to watch, and
Yeah.
the people are great. They're top notch.
We love the horses too. I mean, the animals, they
Yeah,
just being around them it's got its own thing, its own flavor for sure. All
yeah, and
right,
each
cool.
each person has like 10 horses that they ride during a match.
Oh
It's pretty
yeah. And
unbelievable.
yeah, and people who don't know, it's kind of like when years ago, I don't know if they still do highlight so much, but if anybody who's never seen highlight or polo, it's a very constant. They're constantly battling, and I mean, they're battling
Yeah,
for the ball. They're not battling each other. They're battling for the ball. But it's like hockey. It can almost be a contact sport sometimes. They
yeah,
they
for
get
sure.
close. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. All right. Well, that's cool, and we'll definitely look into that. I'll promote that on the website too. So, you ready for some questions?
yeah, sure.
All right, cool. So the first ones are just for fun. So dogs or cats?
Dogs, definitely.
Small or big?
We're Frenchy people. French bulldogs are the
Oh,
best.
nice. All right. How many do you have? I have to,
Two.
two.
Yeah,
Okay. Two are good. That's good to
yeah,
keep them
yeah.
keeps them
They're a
from chewing on the shoes.
ball of energy, so it's nice that they can do that together, and you don't have to
Yeah.
always be the one.
Yeah, and it saves you on the shoe bill for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
So apples or oranges?
Oranges.
Oranges.
Yep.
Okay. Being an athlete, I would figure that. I should have probably known that one right off the
Yeah, you
top.
can't beat a good orange. A bad orange is brutal, but a good orange is as good as it can be.
Okay. Hotel or camping?
Definitely camping.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you've seen enough hotels in your life probably to last you more than a lifetime.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I grew up in the mountains in Oregon, so we haven't been able to do that too much here. So it's something I miss the most for sure. Being in nature and camping out is as good as it gets. Also,
I love that.
yeah,
Slow, faster, faster.
faster.
Faster. Sunshine or moonshine?
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Yeah,
Florida. Yeah,
yeah,
that's why we live here for the year-round sunshine.
that's right.
Okay, so what is your favorite song?
Probably Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, Zeppelin, huh?
Yeah.
Now I know why you and Don get along so well. That's it. Oh, that's too funny. Um, except for during football season, because he's very constant about his thing. Okay, so what would be your favorite road food?
Road food.
Yeah.
Um, like on a road trip,
Mm-hmm.
or just if you're traveling around, what you want to get.
Probably more on a road trip. Like if you were on your motorcycle and you were riding, what would be your go-to? What are you looking for?
Well, I mean, we don't have much of it good in around here, but being out west, it was nice. It's funny because we went this summer. We went to the redwoods from Central Oregon for a week, and then we went out to Glacier. It was like 10 days, and then that one of those pictures was from Cape Flattery, which is the northwesternmost point in the continental U.S. So that was awesome. So then, but all of those small towns out there that you stay in, or you're trying to obviously hit the spots on the 300-mile range or whatever, in the ride time. And every little town has a great Mexican joint, so it was just perfect. Some margaritas after a long day ride and some good
Okay.
Mexican food. You can't beat that.
That makes sense. And I'm in on that. I like Mexican food, especially on the road.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were a cocktail, what would you be?
I don't know. Probably just the tall beer.
Tall beer. Okay, that's a good
That's
answer. I
not a
like that.
that's not really
That
a cocktail, but a
no,
drink
that's
it is.
okay. I get it. I totally coming from you, that totally hits right on the mark for sure.
Right?
Okay, so how long have you been riding?
Well, my dad like didn't have really like Harley when we were growing up, Those that one Don put up was like a 50s, or I think that was a 48 panhead he built out of a box when he was a senior in high school in
Awesome.
1970, 1969. And but we always had dirt bikes. My dad had like a 250 Husqvarna that ripped, and we always had like even a little 50 that he got from someone because he's a welder in the millwright, so he can fix anything or build anything, just like that picture in the shop. I mean, he built the wood stove that's in the shop, and all of the things on the walls. He built all of that stuff. So
Cool.
he's pretty artsy and all of that. So I think he got like a little 50 from someone, someone just gave it to him, so he fixed it up. So I mean, we were riding that around when we were 7 years old, and then dirt biking, as we grew up. And I got the Chief when then my dad got an old panhead, and fixed that up, after when I was in college. That was probably his first Harley after, that he could afford
Kids.
once we were
Right.
all out of the house, not eating everything, all day long.
Uh-huh.
And then
Oh, I know. Mine
I
are
got the
grown, I
Indian,
know.
and it was 2001 when I got that. So we went to Daytona one year. My dad came out and we went up to Daytona together. He rented a Harley and I had the Indian. And then 2018 was his retirement party. So I shipped the bike out there, and we rode to Sturgis for 2 weeks and then back. And then this summer was I shipped the bike out and we went, to the redwoods. And then that other trip was in September to Glacier.
That's
It's
awesome.
chilly in Glacier in September, that's for sure.
Ooh,
The
yeah,
morning we
no
left was like
doubt.
35, so
That's real riding. That
yeah.
is no bullshit. That's the
That's-
real deal. I don't care who says what.
yeah.
So, what are your favorite rides? Like, what's your favorite motorcycle ride and your favorite route?
I mean, it was great after the trip, putting the pictures together and everything. I mean, there's so many great rides around, the the Eye of the Needle, that ride up through, outside of Sturgis, the Black Hills, and then, I mean, Avenue of the Giants through the Redwoods. It's just
Okay.
so awesome to be on your bike going by those trees, because the road curves around the big giant trees and they got like reflectors on them. And
Oh
just
yeah.
to be, you're just so much more aware on a bike than in a car.
Mm.
So it's just, to be the full immersion of those trees. And, I had my GoPro on the handlebar and I would just turn it up. So it was just looking at the canopy of the
Oh,
trees, and not, you couldn't see the road or anything. And it's just, came out really
that's cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was sweet. And then, I mean, that one picture with all the fog, that was actually at Mount Rainier. So, we drove all the way up there to the visitors center, and you couldn't even. That was in
Oh,
Glacier with the one
that's Glacier,
couldn't even
right?
see. I was like, here, let's get a selfie with Mount
Oh, with
Rainier.
his
We're
with when you yeah, when he had
like
his face
15
mask
feet
on,
away,
right?
huh?
Yeah, he had his face mask on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was chilly, and the windshield on the Indian isn't very big, so it's not really. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that would
Mount
have.
Rainier behind there, 14,000-foot mountain.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
yeah, so it sucked that we couldn't see it, but we stopped the day before at Mount Hood in Oregon, and then Mount St. Helens. We drove up there, and then that was the morning, the next morning, Mount Rainier, and but it's like the weather's socked in, so your glasses are getting all wet, just it's not raining, but it's just so much moisture in the air,
Moisture.
and so you're wiping off your goggles trying to see, your glasses or whatever. And but like going through Glacier, that was super cool. Just it's just so great to be on a bike because you're just your sight of vision, and just you can take everything in, where you're in a car and I mean, you're looking at the
Yeah.
windshield, but it's not the same.
The smells and everything. Now
Yeah.
you rode your Indian the whole way.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
so I shipped it out there, and then, we were gonna make the Redwood trip a little bit longer, but, it was we ended up going to California with the family and stuff, so we made that a little bit shorter, and my wife was like, "Well, you shipped it all the way out here, why don't you come back and do a different trip?" And so I jumped all over that and that suggestion, and then that's when we did Glacier, going to the Sun Road, and, you know right over Glacier National. It was awesome. It was a beautiful day that day. It was kind of smoky, you could tell in the pictures, but that's from fire smoke. So, but it
Right.
was sunny and beautiful. It was so cool.
Right.
We stopped there in Canada. We went through. This is hilarious. We go through. There was that duty free shop. It was probably 20 miles off the highway. So, to get to Canada. So we go up there and my dad goes first and they tell him to pull over. So then I go through the border and I go over there and the guy comes out. Yeah, sir, can we talk to you? And he goes inside and comes out. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, the guy wanted to know about when I got arrested in 1970 and if I was going to have any problems here in Canada.
Oh. Oh,
He's
Dad.
like, so can you tell us what happened? My dad was like, that was like 50 years ago, buddy. I don't remember what happened. Can
Did
you
they?
believe that?
Yeah. Oh man. They kept track of that. So like
Yeah,
that's
we
funny.
had to, the Mounties pulled us to the side to check on his 1970 arrest.
That is too funny.
Right? Yeah.
That's
So we stopped
Dad.
at the duty free and I got a magnet, a moose magnet, and we got a bottle of liquor and went back through and, headed down the road.
Yeah. It said hasta luego because that place is not the place to be. The Mounties too. They
Yeah.
are. They'll pull you over in a hot second, especially motorcycles. But that's kind of funny. Your dad's been doing it a long time. He rides around with you, but out of the whole crew, like when it's you and your dad and your brother in the pictures and stuff like that, he is the biker dude. He's the
Yeah.
biker dude. He's so cool. I didn't put the picture up you sent me of him on your motorcycle because I didn't want to do that to Dad. I was being kind because that is cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
That
gotta
was
earn.
the chief made it. The chief made it. So that was awesome. That
Yeah,
was classic. My mom was listening for the bike coming down the road, so she came out there and got some shots.
that is too
So
cool.
he
That
doesn't
is
like
funny.
riding on the back. So
No, I bet not.
I was
That's
like,
too
"Is that the
funny.
first time you ever rode bitch?" And he's like, "I think so. Let's not talk about it ever again."
Oh, that's awesome. Your dad's cool. That's
Yeah,
why you're cool. Your parents are cool. And I'm
for
sure,
sure.
that has a lot to do with it because we always say that there's the apple and then there's the tree. You know what I mean? So
That's right.
that is cool. So when he's down, I want to make sure we got to have to meet him. He comes to visit at all or?
Yeah, they're not coming this spring, but next year they're coming down for a couple weeks. So
Well, cool. We'll have to
yeah,
get together and have dinner for sure. I
yeah,
want to
absolutely.
meet Dad,
Yeah,
especially it's just so I can say, hey, that Indian that we took care of, we take care of it. It made it the whole way, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. That
Yeah,
is very
his
cool.
tires got bad, and we stopped for gas, and I looked at the back one, and the threads were showing. So, luckily, there was because we were on the Oregon coast, and they have a bunch of dune buggy shops there, and luckily, we got to a shop that was close by, and the guy let us put it in there, and then they went back the next day and went in his trailer and got it. So it was only like an hour and a half from home, so it was sweet that
That's cool.
nothing bad happened, but when we saw the tires, it was like, okay.
Yeah, got to stop. Safety
Yeah, no point
matters.
in trying to push it.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if the cords are hanging out. That's a
Yeah.
badass. That's pretty
Yeah, the
cool.
front one looked, was suspect, and then I looked at the back one, it's like, this is worse, man. So yeah, luckily he got to put it in the guy let him put it in the shop and come back the next day to get it. So it was all locked up and secure. So but yeah,
That's
the
cool.
chief made it
Meet
home.
you meet the coolest people on the road too. That was cool. That was kind of
Yeah,
them that they opened their doors like that.
yeah.
Sometimes, put time
Yeah,
in.
we were
And
lucky. They were actually closed. They were just waiting for like two people that had bought buggies and were coming to pick them up. So
that's
luckily they
cool.
were still standing around waiting for the guys, or else I don't know what we would have done.
Yeah, it all
So it
works
worked
out though.
out. It's
That's
perfect.
good. So let's see. Tell me what your favorite event is. Can be any event. Doesn't just have to be motorcycles. You're very worldly. You do all kinds of things: football, golf, all that stuff. So I'm sure there's some music in there. Whatever you want. What's your
Yeah, I
favorite?
mean, I love going to concerts, outdoor festival. You were talking about Leonard Skinner. We saw them at Memphis in May when I was playing. We went out there. My boy grew up in Mississippi and went to Ole Miss, Todd Wade, and so he
Okay.
had been up there. They all go up there, all the college kids. So we went out there, and it was great. Bob Dylan played there, Skinner. It
Oh,
was an awesome weekend of um, everybody. So that was sweet. Where they were playing Free Bird, we're running around, and our girls think we're jackasses, but it was awesome. We had our own little 2-man mosh pit in the back. Can't get too close, the people in the mosh pit want to take out the big guy. They'll hit you from behind and shit when you're not paying attention. So, but
well,
I love going to
I would.
outdoor concerts, festivals, stuff like that.
You've been hit by
I wouldn't even. I standing next to you. There's no way in hell that I would even hit you from behind. You just turn around and look at him like, what? Because
Yeah,
you,
it's harder to
you know.
beat.
What'd you
yeah,
say,
it's
Bev?
either that or they're asking you to get a lift up so they can do the crowd surfing. I don't know if people do that anymore at concerts because it doesn't seem like anyone would want to pass the people over. But we went to a Beastie Boys show one time. I probably threw 40 people up on top of the crowd. Hey,
That
throw me
doesn't
back up there,
surprise
bro.
me.
They ride up to the front, and then come back around. A couple guys, I just throw them as far as I can. Like no one pays attention. They just crash down on the floor. Like, bro, did you see that guy? I think he's
Oh
out,
my,
bro. He's out for the concert.
oh my god, that is too funny.
Yeah, throw me up there, bro. Throw me up there.
That's too funny. And babe, will you put the picture back up of you and him so everybody can kind of gather just how tall he is? Don's like, I don't know where that picture is. Hang on one second, because I want everybody to see this to actually get it. It was one of the first ones. You gave yourself a shameless plug there, babe, standing next to, Mr. Football. Okay, there we go. All right. So, and you have your helmet on. That's still like Dawn's really tall. You are very, like, the two of you very tall. Dawn is very thinner, but like you're a big guy. So when you say throw people up there, I just want everybody to get a gist of the fact that you literally mean throw people up there. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty funny. That is funny as hell. Okay, so what's the most fun you've ever had on a motorcycle?
I mean, like it's I just love like riding through, riding in nature and being out, I mean, it's just to have that immersive experience, like you said, the smells, I mean, you have the visual of everything. Um, I mean, Sturgis was awesome. There's so many great rides. Like the roads there were so nice, they obviously kept it so clean for all the riders.
Hmm.
I mean, coming back through, even like through Utah, like, all the places they're digging up dinosaur bones now and stuff, that was a trip. So, yeah, I mean,
I mean, you stop
just
and see all
riding in the
that
woods.
stuff when you
Huh?
guys are traveling. Do you stop at places like that and see the dinosaur bones and the things?
No, not really. I mean, like when we went to the redwoods, we stopped at like they have, I mean, it's kind of the beginning of the redwoods where they have Babe the Blue Ox and Paul Bunyan. They have like those giant statues. So we stopped there, and but a lot of stuff, it's like my wife will be like, "Well, what'd you guys, why didn't you get any pictures?" It's like because you're on the bike all day, I mean, which is why the GoPro is great on the handlebar, because then you can go back through and check it out. But yeah, it's like, and my daughter's like, "You didn't buy me anything?" I'm like, "We stopped at the hotel, we ate dinner, everything was closed, and then we left in the morning, like we didn't go shopping. There's no
It's a
like gift
real
shop,
riding trip,
I mean,
right?
so
It's a
it's
real riding trip.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're not we
Okay.
don't I mean, I guess on most of the trips we've been, going pretty far distances. So like you're cranking it. And then like of course at Sturgis, we went downtown and did that whole thing and everything. But I mean, other than that, you're just driving all day pretty much. So
So Sturgis is a hit. That's a what happens in Sturgis stays in Sturgis. That's the way that
yeah, it
goes.
was great. We stayed out at the Buffalo Chip,
Oh
they got
yeah.
that they got the pond there, the lake that was like, I don't know how, but the water's cold as hell in there. So it's nice to jump in when you're done riding,
Oh
get
yeah.
refreshed in the cold lake, and then they got the concerts going on. So I mean, it was great. We just stayed in a tent, and they have air
Yeah.
mattress or blow up air mattresses, and they give you a cooler and shit, So it was, I mean, it was perfect.
I love the Buffalo Chip. Woody and his daughter Tony, and then Marilyn Stamp, Jeff Nader, all the people that work there, they're amazing people. So that is a good time. That definitely is. In the early '90s, it was way different. I just had that
Yeah,
conversation with Woody and Daytona about that, how it's become more of a family event there because it was crazy in the early '90s.
yeah,
Yeah. David Mann centerfolds made that place made him look mild, like for real. It was definitely some action going on there. Okay, so then what's the worst experience you've ever had on a motorcycle?
I mean, knock on wood, I really haven't had any. I mean, when we were on our way out to Sturgis, that's one of the things that we didn't do with you guys. I had a battery that wasn't like brand new, but it was, newer, so we didn't replace the battery and like it crapped out and just crapped out, So I got some good pictures sitting on the side of the road, but luckily we had just gone through it. We weren't too far from town when we were coming in, and we had just gone through another town. I can't remember, but there was like an auto parts store. So my
Mhm.
brother and my dad went back and got me a new battery and put it on, plugged it in, and we were off, But I
Don's
mean, tons of people stopped
Don
and wanted to offer help and everything. I'm just waving them. I'm good.
I'm good.
So
In today's day and age with the cell phone, but Don's writing notes back there. He's like he won. He got two out of the three. He wanted you to get tires and a battery, and you went for the tires because your wife said yes. She
yeah,
said please,
definitely.
right? Yeah, I see you. I see you over there.
Yeah, it
That's
wasn't. I
fun.
don't remember how old it was, but yeah, should have just
Yeah, it
shoot
wasn't
this.
that old. Yeah, but Florida batteries too, where they're used to the Florida weather. It's like when we go north in summertime, we're all looking for clothes to put on. Everybody there's walking around in shirts and same thing. It's warm. It's used to being warm. They get cold, they get cranky. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Definitely. So, next question is, who is your childhood hero?
Um, I mean, probably just like sports guys. I was a huge Magic Johnson fan when he was playing for the Lakers, and I love like Marcus Allen on the Raiders. I was the LA sports fan because my parents grew up down there, so my grandpa was LA sports fan, Dodgers, Raiders, and Lakers. So
Okay.
um, I love the tight end on the Raiders. His name was Todd Christensen. He was great, great guy and
Yeah.
really good player. And so probably just that. And I mean,
Would you see
my dad was, I grew up in Oregon. My parents moved to Oregon because my dad was, he got into a biker gang and was beating up too many people. So that was one of his options rather than going back to jail. So,
go right? Go north,
him
right?
like doing that and leaving and taking his, two young boys, and then they had another one in Oregon, but and just making the life for us there. And
Mhm.
always, we didn't live. We definitely weren't like upper middle class or probably even maybe middle class, but like we never wanted for anything, So
Right.
it was, I mean, both my parents were awesome. They're still married and they're still great people, So
That's
my dad, I
amazing.
always, even now, I only have one kid, and I just can't believe like how much he did and how much energy he had to always be doing something, fixing up
Right.
the house after work, sports for three boys, and I'm out of gas and I only got one kid. And
I understand.
I don't spend my days welding, in a hot ass
Right.
shop, So that
Mhm.
was, his work ethic and how he provided for us was always very impressive to me. And now they got a good life. They own an awesome property in Oregon, and rides his nice sweet bike. And he just bought a truck that has a big Dodge, and hopefully he can get a bike rack in the back of it and get a camp trailer so they can come out here and we can do some more riding. We want to go
Yeah.
through the Appalachian Mountains and stuff like that up in North Carolina and Tennessee and all through there.
Yeah, and if you guys are anytime like the TMMR, the Tennessee Music and Motorcycles Revival, that's a fantastic event. And next year, I'm gonna participate in the BC Moto show that's there. So maybe you guys should come
Nice.
ride up. Tell Dad, come on, I want to meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kind of biker. See, I grew
Yeah.
up like
Yeah.
that. I know. I totally get it. So
Yeah.
that is cool. Okay, so would you say that Todd Christensen was your football hero?
Yeah, probably him or Marcus Allen.
Okay.
I mean,
All
Marcus
right.
Allen was always awesome, great guy. And then, when they got Bo Jackson, then like Al Davis kind of screwed him, but, he ended up playing with the Chiefs. And I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He could have been a lot better if he basically for 4 or 5 years, like was second fiddle to Bo Jackson. And, he still has the stats to be in the Hall of Fame. So
Right.
he was always awesome.
Now, did you know in school that you really wanted to play football and that was what you went for, or did that just kind of happen?
No, it's always what I wanted to do when I was little. And I was a really good baseball player too, and, knowing what I know now, I probably would have tried to do baseball. Both of my cousins played baseball in the big leagues,
Yeah.
and, being a starting pitcher in the big leagues is a pretty good gig, 1 out of every 5 games you play,
Yeah, you take
and the
less
rest of
hits
the time,
than
you're not really doing anything.
yeah, and you take way less hits than being a tight end.
Yeah,
That's for
you're not
sure.
headbutting people every
Oh,
day, and,
yeah.
the contracts are guaranteed, and you get health insurance after you're done playing and all kinds of stuff, so
Right.
but, I didn't even I didn't even consider like trying to be a baseball player in college because I just wanted to be a football player. So
That's awesome. At least you
yeah,
followed your
I
dream.
walked on at Oregon, and I almost left because I wasn't playing that much, but the guys ahead of me were all going to the NFL, So my dad said like if you want to have a chance to play in the NFL, you only need 1 year to be a starter. Wait your turn and be the guy, and that's what happened.
That is awesome. That is super cool. All right, so nobody ever can pick one. If you have one, that's cool. If you have two, because you can't pick one, that's fine too. But what would be your most cherished motorcycle memory?
I think like the whole trip to Sturgis, just because of it was like my dad's retirement party. It was a long trip. My younger brother was there too, so that was great. And just the whole party, the whole event, was just so great. And then, riding through the Black Hills was awesome.
Yeah, it's
I did a
gorgeous
lot
there.
of I majored in anthropology in college, and like focused on indigenous and native tribes in North America. So
Okay.
I'm pretty I'm pretty into like the Lakota tribes and all the tribes that were, the Plains Indians that were all living in that area and stuff. And so it was really cool to be there and riding the chief. And, we went out to the Crazy Horse Memorial and did all, Mount Rushmore. Obviously, that was like, it used to be called, the natives call it the Six Grandfathers. It was an
Mm-hmm.
amazing mountain before it all got carved up. Bunch of
Mm-hmm.
white dudes' heads on it, but it's still pretty cool to see now. But you know,
Yeah,
so it was that was that was like once in a lifetime type trip. So it was great.
very much so. I love Sturgis. We've been to the reservation and played baseball with the kids and stuff like that. We like to do stuff like that with the builders. It's always fun, but it's beautiful country there. I
Yeah.
understand that. So then I'm going to ask the question, what's your most cherished football memory?
Um, obviously winning the Super Bowl was awesome. The party was great afterwards. But probably like for me, my first touchdown catch was here in Miami, my second year. It was in the playoff game against the last playoff win the Dolphins had in 2000 season, if you can believe that. And
Uh,
it was like, I caught a touchdown with like 15 seconds left in regulation. So we tied the game, and then we ended up winning in overtime. So that was pretty awesome. My first touchdown in
that's
that
cool.
situation. So my wife was like afterwards, like, weren't you nervous? Were you scared? I
Yeah,
was like, hell no. He
playing
better throw me the
football.
ball. It's my job to catch it. That's what I have fun doing. So,
Oh my
and I actually
goodness.
he wasn't covering me, but he was a safety. So he came and was trying to tackle me when I got in the end zone. He was a senior at Oregon when I was a freshman, and he was all American guy and just really great dude. And so it was awesome. Like, I got pictures of me leaning over the goal line, and he's there trying to tackle me. So that's pretty cool. So
That's
that's
awesome.
probably like, my greatest highlight, and being in there. I didn't the Super Bowl obviously, was just like a whole thing, but I wasn't that involved in the game plan. So, I wasn't
Right,
out there like the whole game and stuff. So,
right.
and it was, the party on the field was great, and everything, they do the whole presentation, but it's not like in the old days or like with other sports where, you go in the locker room, guys are doing media, people are still out with their families. So there really wasn't like a team party in the locker room, so that was
Right, not a
kind
moment.
of
Yeah.
disappointing. It wasn't like,
Mm.
my cousin played for the Cardinals, and they won the World Series in '07, and we were there, and like we went down underneath with the family, and like we were in the dugout where they were or in the clubhouse, and they were popping champagne still
Yeah.
when we got in there. So like I was popping champagne with the Cardinals, and we didn't even do that with the Patriots, so it
I
was
like the first touchdown. I think the first touchdown's much better. That story's way better anyways.
yeah.
All the stuff with pomp and circumstances is cool, but it's pomp and circumstances. It's really about the things that captivate you, the real stuff.
Yeah,
That's like what you say about your riding and stuff like that, what you're what you appreciate about it. Same thing with football, and it's the same thing with motorcycles when you're racing or whatever like that. It's that real moment that you're just like, it really just smacks you and you're just like, holy shit, this is really happening. Like, I'm doing this.
yeah,
I'm, and I'm going to go back, it's on YouTube's everything. So I'm sure he has the clip somewhere of you catching that touchdown. I'm sure he does. I just know.
Yeah, it's on there.
I know. He probably already has it on his computer. When it's not football season, he'll be like, "Hey, babe, you want to see Jed Weaver again?" Okay, man. That's funny. That is
Yeah,
too
the
funny.
next week after that game, we went out to Oakland and played, and that was like the first playoff game in Oakland in like 35 years. Growing up a Raider fan like that, for me,
Oh,
the whole parking lot, the whole stadium was just smoldering when we got there from everyone's barbecue and the Raider flags flying, and so that was just heaven to go in there and play in that stadium the next week. And all these old guys, Jack Tatum and all these old Raider guys were there. And that was really cool. I mean, we got beat, but, just to be there and like silver and black and, all the maniacs are in the stands, you're out there warming up, they're yelling at you and want you to come over there and fight them. It's like, I'm playing in a football game, bro. I'm not going to fight you.
right. Did you meet Marcus Allen?
No, he wasn't there, but a bunch of the other guys like Bill Russell was there on the field, so I met him, and he's got 11 championship rings with the
That's
Celtics,
neat.
and so it was just really, just being there. I got like 50 tickets for the game. All my family came down from Oregon and stuff, and I had a ton of family in California, so I mean, we
That is
got
cool.
we got smoked that game, but it was, I mean, you can only
Hey,
do so much. You're only one part of the team, so
right.
the whole experience was just unbelievable. The
I
outcome
love it.
sucked, but what can you do? Can't win them
Hey,
all.
no, I love that. That is
No.
so awesome. You're so cool. Okay, so my next question, if you could go back and tell your 25-year-old self something, what would that be?
5 years for him.
That 40 isn't very old, and it's right around the corner. So, I don't know.
I love it. I
Plan
like
for
that
40
one.
because it's like right there,
Right? I
you
like
know.
that. I like that one.
So
That's a good answer. That is a good answer. Okay,
yeah,
next.
I mean, I feel. I enjoyed time. I mean, I was pretty stressed playing football just because I was always fighting for my spot. So
Mhm.
it was stressful that way. But you can always, I think, if you ever went back in life, you could say to it, try to enjoy what you're doing in that moment.
Okay.
Because of course, then you're better at what you're doing if you're enjoying that moment rather than worrying about something that might happen or the future or whatever else.
That's a good answer. I like that. That's very good. I imagine that's something that we'd like to be able to go back and say, but hey, I always say nothing else. I tell my kids, they'll say you're a broken record. Um, but I always tell them you just never know what's gonna happen. So you just gotta take it as it comes, and not so much worry about it. Yeah, you can X out of that, babe. I don't know what that is. So
Yeah, and like,
um
I mean, our daughter's 9. I mean, you guys have kids and grandkids now. It's
mhm.
I mean, it just goes so fast. So it's like, if you're not in that moment, you're just missing the moment, and then, obviously whatever you're dealing with isn't, it's not there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to be in the moment kind of helps to slow time down a little bit because and
Yeah, it goes
obviously the older you get, it seems like the faster it goes. So,
faster. Yes, doesn't it? I thought that was
yeah.
just me, but yeah, that is definitely it. Okay, so the next question is if money didn't matter and you could take a road trip on your motorcycle anywhere, where would that be and with who?
Um, if money didn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd love to like go through like the Swiss Alps would be awesome, with my dad. I mean, I love riding with my dad. We get along great. It's chill. He can fix anything if something happens, but to ride over there, I think in the mountains would be awesome.
Okay.
Um, New Zealand's supposed to be beautiful, be awesome to ride around there and fly fish, it's catch and release in New Zealand, so they got like the best fly fishing in the world.
Nice. You
Yeah.
fly fish. That doesn't surprise me either. That
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, we're trying to make it to the well we got to the northwesternmost corner, in Cape Flattery up there. And my dad, when he came down for Bike Week Daytona that one time, that was when I went out to San Francisco. So when we were on the trip, it was like, oh, San Francisco wants you to go out there. They might sign you. So I had to like fly out there, and he was still here for a few days, and he was going to ride down to Key West on my bike. And he only made it to like Isla Morada or something. And it was too hot. So he stopped at some place, some restaurant, and was like, I need water. So like he turned around and came back. But I definitely want to get down to the southernmost point, and then get up to Maine somewhere, wherever the northeasternmost point is. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good trip. I like that. I like someday do all four corners of it. I like Swiss Alps though. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, it looks awesome in pictures, all the trains going through the mountains. It's got to be
Yeah.
some good windy mountain roads over there.
Yeah, with some breathtaking, definite scenery for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. Trains going through the mountains. That's pretty neat. Like your kid at Christmas, and you get to watch them all go through the little. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so tell us something good about yourself that others may not know.
I don't know. I mean, I have, I like really care a lot about people and what I do. So I think that I don't, I don't express that a lot to people, but I mean, I think I have like a big heart and care a lot about what goes on that, people don't notice, or really, like they don't see it if you're not like explaining that to people or whatever, so
Right.
that matters to me a lot, I think.
Good. I like that. That's a good answer too.
Yeah.
All right. So then the show is home of the 5 good things. We like to promote 5 good things, keeps you in positive perspective. So will you give us your 5 good things tonight?
I don't know. Drinking lots of water, getting some good exercise, riding, getting down and like playing with your kid on their level, doing what they want to do instead of like always trying to drag them along to what you're doing.
Awesome.
And having good love in your life.
I love it. That is awesome. Very good. That is so cool. I am so grateful. I'm just so excited that you actually honored me by being a guest on the show and letting us get to know you, because I always brag about you and your riding and, the fact that you're so super cool. And I always have your football cards. I have them all the time. I have them in the drawer. And I'm like, yeah, I saw a Super Bowl ring one time. That thing's huge. It's monstrous. It's like really, I mean, of course, your hands are like 5 times the size of mine, but the ring itself is huge. It's huge. It's super cool. You always wonder because everybody that participates, everybody gets one, but like, that's a big piece of jewelry. That's not just a little pinky ring that says, hey, thanks for the memories. That's the real deal. That thing was cool.
Yeah, and at the time it was the biggest one by far, but because some of the Patriot guys had been there and they won 3 out of 4 years, we got the party was like in June, so they had to make the ring and design it and everything. So guys, you just get sized. You figure, they have a ring sizer that comes in one day, and you get sized, and then like 2 weeks the party's there. They're finishing the rings. A lot of not a lot, but 5 or 6 of the guys actually got them sized on their pinky, because they're like, oh, it's gonna be my pimping ring, dog, my 3rd ring. I'm going with the pinky ring. And then they come out and present it to you, and it came like in a big wood box and had the Super Bowl logo on the box, and it's got a felt cover on the inside, where it's like sitting in a placement. And then when we see the ring, and it's like, what the fuck, and that's my pinky ring, dog. It's like, oh my God.
It's huge. I could imagine, because football players have big hands. I get it. I do get it. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. So grateful. And and I guess I'll see you soon. I'm sure I will. And, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
okay.
let me know when works for it to come in, and congratulations on the new spot. It sounds awesome. Some more
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, more space, and I'm
So
gonna get my own little studio spot, so I don't
sweet.
keep getting moved around. So it's very awesome. Things are moving the right direction. But yeah, definitely, and I will talk to you soon about that. We'll get you in, get the Gilroy moving forward there on the fluids.
Yeah,
All right,
perfect. That sounds
okay,
good.
kiddo. All
All
right,
right,
I'll
thanks a
see you
lot. Love you
later.
guys.
Thank
Have
you
a good
so
one.
much. All right,
All
you
right.
too.
Bye.
Okay, how awesome was that? Man, I'll tell you what, I love it. Yes, we work on his motorcycle, and yes, he's super cool. And that I just really enjoyed that conversation. I hope everybody gets to watch it. If you didn't stay up to watch it, please go back and watch it again because it's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to give you my afterthought real quick and we're going to move on. I think something went wahoo with the Facebook, so we'll have to see how that works out. Okay, so it's my afterthought. I don't have a title for it. It's just many days I wonder why everything has to be a constant struggle. You know how that is in life? For some reason, every time you set out to accomplish things, there's always a hurdle or an absolute insane circumstance that you can't make that shit up. And it has you jumping through unexpected hoops continually. Well, most times I say it's a test and you must pass the test with the best possible grade. Or is it just that there's some lesson that needs to be learned? Whatever the lesson is, I'm learning away. So who really knows? But what I do know is at least I'm able to keep doing this daily thing that I got going on. Thank God. And as always, I'm honored to be right here, right now, doing this little show. Don't forget, spread your sunshine. Be kind to yourself and others. It matters. Yay. I'm so excited that everybody participates. Please continue to participate in the show. Send us your 5 good things, your cool events, charities. Send questions if you need a little bit of biker chick perspective. The address is on the screen, Athena After Dark at AOL.com. And you can follow us on the Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's at Athena After Dark Productions. And YouTube is at Athena After Dark 9457. We're almost to our 100 subscribers to where we can get our own name. So go subscribe. Tell somebody else to subscribe. Watch it. We have different guests every week. You're going to learn some cool stuff. Find some cool stuff out about people you never even thought you'd ever hear. So it's cool. And please share. All right. Thanks so much to all of our great guests, but to Mr. Jed Weaver tonight for joining us. That was so special. And thanks to our sponsor, Techno Research. Seaside Subs, I skipped over the commercial tonight because we wanted to get all the answers to our questions. And we had football to talk about a little bit. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you next week, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, for another great guest. Love to all. Chopper on. Have a great week. Mwah, mwah.